My name is Zeke. Like most kids, I've always been fascinated by dragons.
I find myself wanting to talk to them.
And I'm not alone. From ancient manuscripts to the big screens of today, people have been envisioning dragons forever. My friends say, grow up, banish dragons to the realm of fantasy. There's no evidence that dragons ever existed. Well, just because nobody's found evidence before doesn't mean no one ever will. I know, you may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. Some of the world's smartest scientists, inventors, and writers are along for the ride.
If ever a cave looked like a dragon ought to live in it, it was this one.
Some of these folks are actually making dragons, mashing up ingredients from nature with cool technology.
We've never done anything as complex as this before.
Here you can see the developing embryo.
And tapping into ancient DNA to maybe even hatch dragons from eggs.
There's nothing to a dragon that hasn't existed already or doesn't exist right now.
I will leave no rock unturned. From the sands of the American Southwest to the crocodile-infested rivers of India.
One bite sushi, my friend.
To the ship-crushing waves of the North Viking seas. Heck, I'll even go to Florida.
Well, if they found 300 species of bats recently, why not one species of dragon?
I'm on a worldwide quest to find out once and for all, are dragons real? The last dragon I saw was at the movies. DreamWorks How to Train Your Dragon. Now those dragons are leaping off the screen and onto the stage in a massive arena spectacular.
Music.
And it's these guys at Creature Technology in Australia that are making it happen.
Do dragons really exist? They certainly do here, and in abundance.
Spotlight on the egg grounds and go.
Designers Sonny Tilders and Phil Millar introduced me to the cast.
All these characters are lifted from the film. What's been really pleasing about dealing with this cast of dragons is the variety of sources that DreamWorks had for these creatures.
These beastie boys go far beyond the classic storybook dragons. They're inspired by cats, parrots, and even bugs. In a monstrous design and engineering challenge, the team is building 24 life-size creatures.
We want dragons you could believe could potentially walk off the stage and actually eat you.
Wow.
Yep.
That is incredible.
Yeah, be careful its tail, bro. That thing swings.
Mobile and aggressive, but you know, you're mostly fairly safe. Mostly.
DreamWorks dragons are pure 21st century. But check it out. Dragon stories are older than the Bible. And while dragons share some common crazy parts, depending on time and place, they can be good or evil, fearsome or friendly. So here's another question to all the skeptics out there. If there are no dragons, why do so many cultures around the world have a word for them?
Dragon, dragon, smoke, and Hati, long, dragon, naga, ryujin, dragão, toha, josh, achka, drake, dragon.
For clues to where dragons come from, I'm in New York City, at another place filled with fantastical creatures, the American Museum of Natural History.
When you find bones, they're never put together like this. They're never complete. Usually you just find a bunch of bones that are all jumbled up on the surface. Would have found bones like this.
Dr. Mark Norell digs up fossils of giant creatures from all around the globe.
You're the expert on all things dinosaurs, but I'm hoping for a little light to be shed on dragons. Can you do that for us?
Well, we've got a team of dragon experts here to help us out.
Okay. Hey, kids. We have young dragonologists around the table. We have bones.
See if you can figure out which bones go where.
Let's do this.
Dr. Norell pulled together these bones based on dinosaur fossils.
What do you think this is?
I'm not sure. It looks like a big tooth, kind of.
It does look like a big tooth.
His idea is to show how ancient bones can be put together in fantastic ways.
The association between dinosaurs and dragons is an old one.
That's where the leg goes.
Since people have found dinosaurs or first started recognizing for what they were, they made this comparison with the mythological dragon.
Where do you think this goes?
What does it look like?
Looks a little bit like the pelvis.
Okay, what are you thinking with this piece?
I think it might be like a joint, maybe like an arm or a leg.
Yeah, but does your leg bend in 3 places?
Finger?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's looking good.
The certainty of ever finding a dragon largely means what you consider a dragon to be, since there's no real formal definition of what a dragon is.
To me, it's the classic dragon. Wings, claws, tail, and definitely fire breathing.
Where's the head?
Let's take a look at our dragon. Can we get a fire-breathing dragon roar? Nice work.
My young dragonologist friends have put these bones together to make the skeleton of a dragon. And come on, if these crazy-looking dinosaurs are for real, why not dragons? From the bearded Tatsu of Japan to the snaky Naga of Tibet, from the nasty 9-headed Hydra of ancient Greece, to the classic fire-breathing dragon that got toasted by Beowulf, from La Graguille, who inspired gargoyles on French cathedrals, all the way across the Atlantic to Quetzalcoatl, the Aztec war dragon. But the writers of all these stories are lost in time. There is one modern dragon storyteller I can find, Cressida Cowell. She wrote the book, How to Train Your Dragon. Cressida and her father are making a rare winter visit off the west coast of Scotland.
There's our island.
It's the island that inspired the book, that inspired the DreamWorks movie.
This is Burke. It's 12 days north of hopeless and a few degrees south of freezing to death. The only problems are the pests. You see, most places have mice or mosquitoes. We have dragons.
There's a lot of overlap between the real place and the imaginary place. There's a hill on this island which always looked to me as a child as if it might be the back of a sleeping dragon. And the idea that it might one day shake off its rock and come alive is a very, very exciting idea. When you can hear the gales, I used to imagine it was the howling of that dragon, maybe waking up. This was my kingdom when I was a kid. An island so small that when you stood on the top of it, you could see sea all around you. And you really can imagine dragons living in this beautiful, wild, gale-strewn place. The Vikings completely believed that dragons really existed. And so my starting point for the books was, what if the Vikings were right? What if dragons really did exist?
In Cressida's childhood kingdom, dragons do exist. And a world away, my friends from Creature Technology are bringing them to life. Maybe they can advise me about my dragon quest.
Everything we see in mythical creatures has some foundation in the natural world and in living animals. And if you ignore that and say, oh, they're just mythical, we can do whatever we want, you actually lose that credibility and they stop being believable characters. We have to unleash these creatures into a brand new, realistic world. We have to give them muscles, to give them bones, to give them a sense of texture and grit.
Okay. That is incredible. I mean, you have the veins and the hands. I mean, that is the wing of a bat right there.
A bat crossed with a pterosaur via a dragon with a bit of embellishment.
It's a cocktail.
Yeah, yeah. With extra spikes.
My dragon-making friends down under and my young dragonologists are on to something. They're using real anatomy to make dragons. If dragons are more than myth, then I ought to be able to find all the dragony parts in nature and mash up my own. We've already put together the skeleton, but to find the other parts, I'm going to have to face down some of the scariest animals on the planet. I'm here looking for evidence of dragons in nature. And whether it's the Bible or ancient manuscripts, dragons are often depicted as having wings. And those wings are the wings of a bat. I'm just outside Gainesville, Florida, to investigate the dragon-bat connection.
The amazing thing about bats is that there's close to 1,200 species. Almost a quarter of all known mammals are bats. This is called the Malayan or the large flying fox. These guys have a wingspan of nearly 6 feet.
6 feet? That bat's gotta need a lot of nourishment. Is blood part of the diet of this bat?
Of this particular bat, no. About 70% of bats feed on insects. About 20% feed on fruit, and the other bats eat anything from frogs to scorpions to a bunch of other things, but these type of bats only feed on fruit.
Turns out there's only 3 species of blood-sucking vampire bats, and it's those guys that give the rest of these bats a bad rap. I've already been pretty close to the bats, but now we're about to get real close. Looks like we have a bat that is asleep, Brian.
Yeah, this is one of our large ones. This is a Malayan flying fox.
Brian and his team anesthetize one of the resident bats in need of some physical therapy, and I get to hold his wing.
The interesting thing about their wings, they can actually extend it 400%.
The texture is just really amazing.
Yeah, it's a very unique biological material, but for the most part, it is skin. So this would be where the thrust comes from. Once they get into the air, it's this area and the fingertips, that's where they get their finesse and their maneuverability.
In this high-speed photography of a bat flying in a wind tunnel, you can really see how that big sheet of flexible skin gives him lift and a smooth glide. If ever there was a wing that could make a dragon fly, I mean, it would have to be this kind of wing. This bat wing is definitely evidence of a dragony part from nature to mash up on my young dragonologist's creature. But there's one thing about bats that still flips me out.
Why do they hang upside down?
To take flight. What they do, since they're already hanging upside down, is they'll look around, see where they want to go, because no bats are blind. They can all see very, very well. They let go of their toes, they drop, and they catch air.
Our dragon may have the wings of a bat, but it's certainly not going to drop into flight. I'm here at the University of Montana Flight Lab to check out a creature that has mastered the art of the launch.
This is Nigel. Nigel's the golden eagle.
Beautiful bird.
It also has spectacular, powerful-looking feet, and the talons there are really robust.
These are the weapons on all the raptors that are striking prey, crushing organs, crushing bones.
So if we're gonna scale to dragon size, what kind of pectoral muscles are gonna be necessary?
Enormous. You'd have muscles sticking out like a barrel of a 55-gallon drum.
Our dragon's gonna put all bodybuilders to shame.
I think we can add the mighty pectoral muscles, strong legs, and skull-crushing claws of a raptor so my dragon can fly. At Creature Technology, their dragons are also buffed out with muscle. They're also adding scaly skin and amazing colors.
This is the Monstrous Nightmare, which is one of the largest dragons in the show. We wanted something which looked like a classic Western dragon. Big, red, spiky, aggressive thing.
But to me, what makes Monstrous Nightmare really aggressive is one important dragony thing: fire breathing. From the fiery flying serpent in scriptures, Isaiah 14:29, to the fire dragon who fathers the ancestors of the Native American Iroquois. Any dragon of mine's gotta have fire breathing. At Creature Technology, they're using high-tech wizardry to spark these flames. But real, live, fire-breathing animals? Where am I gonna find that in nature? I did hear about a creature with a weapon of flash destruction terrorizing the American Southwest.
This is just beautiful.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's also one of your most biodiverse areas in North America. And that's because you have a mix of Rocky Mountain species and Mexican species coming together.
Stay dry, my science friend.
Ace biologist Jason Shaler is guiding me to the lair of the monstrous beast.
Ah, here we go.
A bug? Not exactly what I was expecting.
Nice colors on that guy.
Jason tells me this little beetle may hold the key to fire breathing.
This is a member of the family Carabidae. They're commonly known as ground beetles. And this particular beetle is classified in the subfamily Brachynae. It's a bombardier beetle.
Dr. Wendy Moore is an entomologist, a bug scientist at the University of Arizona.
And all species in that subfamily have an extraordinary defensive mechanism. They can produce hot, toxic chemicals at the boiling point of water, 100 degrees C.
You just come at them like so and just give a little squeeze.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
The special thing about bombardier beetle defensive glands is that they have 2 chambers to their defensive glands. It's the mixing of those chemicals in the internal chamber with those in the external chamber that create this exothermic reaction.
Sweet! The two-chamber anatomy is like the two-headed dragon in the movie.
The hideous zippleback is extra tricky. One head breathes gas, the other head lights it.
I mean, I think that's why I'm fascinated by it, because I'm looking for dragons, and here we find animals in nature that use scalding hot defense mechanisms.
Yep, right here in this humble bombardier beetle.
Thanks to Mr. Bombardier, I can add fire breathing to my mashup dragon. But beetles, birds, and bats all have Western dragon traits. There's a whole Eastern world of dragons to explore. To get my magical mystery tour back on track, I'm seeking a guru to guide me in a land as fabled as the dragon itself.
In India, large, sometimes deadly reptiles are a part of the daily life. Since reptiles are so dragon-like, I've come here to meet a man whose life mission is to better understand reptiles. I'm hoping to find evidence of dragons in their scaly cousins. Ron Whitaker.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm just great, thanks.
Wow, this place is wild.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, what is going on here?
Well, a lot. We've got several thousand crocodiles, and we're here to conserve crocodiles in India, but we do have a nice repository of species from all parts of the world.
Look at these guys.
Yeah. The crocodile represents something as close to a dragon as anything in existence.
What kind of crocs?
These are the mugger crocodiles, the common freshwater crocodile that's found more or less throughout India.
That's some action right there.
The features that first hit you are the size of the jaws and the size of the teeth. And then if you look at this absolute strength of the skull, and then these osteoderms back here, these very, very strong scales, which cover the body, basically. It's armor. I mean, it really is. And, you know, typically a sword or a lance or something is what you kill a dragon with. Well, try to kill one of these guys with that. Impossible. It's armor-plated.
What an amazing feeling the skin has, too.
Yeah.
Very dragon-esque tail we have right here.
Absolutely.
It's been an exhilarating day hanging out with these amazing creatures. Because if dragons had a family reunion, Cousin Croc here would have a seat at the table.
And I can add the crocodile's powerful tail to my dragon mashup.
You can really growl, really fierce, Toothless.
Back at Creature Technology, the dragons are coming to life. And I'm feeling starstruck. There's Toothless, the star of the movie.
There is something about something large with teeth focusing on you as a prey item as it comes towards you. I think I'll just...
Yeah, I'll back up a little bit, right?
It's quite startling.
I find myself talking to him. He's so real.
The eyes are the windows to the soul. It's critical that we get a sense of intelligence and focus and attention. It's like, yes, I'm looking at you, I'm thinking about you, and you then give that power to the creature.
The intelligence and hypnotic power in the eyes of Toothless resembles another member of the dragon family, the snake. The dragon-snake connection is ancient, dating back at least 7,000 years to one of the earliest images of a dragon, a jade carving by the Hongshan people of Mongolia. Among the African Yoruba tribe in Nigeria, there's Ashumer, a serpent dragon that appears as a rainbow and changes sexes.
the association of snakes with dragons comes from the fact that dragons are generally depicted as reptilian creatures. India is kind of special in the way that people look upon reptiles, and snakes in particular. Snakes are worshipped.
I'm sticking close to Ram, my reptile guru, to check out a snake with killer creds, Cousin Cobra.
He's all bunched up.
Yep, he is. He's wrapped up in there.
That is a big snake.
He's a lot. Anyway.
Wow.
There he is.
That's a cobra.
That's beautiful.
I could see how people would be hypnotized. I'm hypnotized just sitting here looking.
Yeah,
He's
every
not
time I see one, I've seen thousands of them, but every one of them fascinates me. When you see a cobra, you're looking at a snake unlike any other snake in the world. It actually sits up and looks at you, face to face.
It's a beautiful, beautiful creature.
It is. You know, people are always saying, wow, how angry the snake is, you know? And I'm saying at the same time, no, how frightened the snake is. He's absolutely scared to death.
If snakes are more afraid of us than we are of them, what does that say about dragons?
Everything we know about you guys is wrong.
This is my last hope. China. Maybe old legends from the land of the dragon will lead me to new evidence.
I'm in Hocheng, deep in China's interior. It's a place that few Westerners ever venture. It's rocky, hilly, stark terrain. And for thousands of years, farmers have been finding bones in caves here that they claim are dragon bones.
Hey, 你好.
Shan Chen Chen is a paleontologist from the nearby Hocheng Research Center.
So you found some bones.
在这个地方呢，是当地老百姓呢，就说是发现了龙骨。我作为这个古生物做这个研究的呢，我也发现了这几块。
Dr. Chen, do you know what animals these bones come from?
经过这个实地的观察，一看呢，从这个标本呢，它的结构轮廓一看呢，这种标本呢，它不是传说中的龙。
Checking out stories of dragon bones has led Shan Chen and others to discover hundreds of crazy new species. One of those fossils may be exactly what I'm looking for. Here in Beijing, Jingmei O'Connor is a rising star in dino science.
Got some amazing stuff here.
Yeah, this is the collection room where we keep all our treasures.
She's taking me behind the scenes of one of the premier dinosaur research centers.
Oh, wow. Look at this guy. This is amazing.
Right?
I mean, this looks like a dragon right here. You can see the tail, the legs, the claws, the wings. I know some dragons had 4 wings. I mean, this very much looks like it could be a 4-winged dragon.
Well, actually, it basically is a 4-winged dragon. I mean, what are dragons other than reptiles that could fly? If you look at the transition between dinosaur and flying reptiles, which is what I study, you get things that really do look like dragons. It's pretty cool.
It's way cool. But Jingmei's dragon is long gone. If I can't find a living dragon, I wonder if I can use modern science to bring one back to life. Outside Montreal, Canada, I'm meeting someone who may help me hatch a diabolical plan.
Hans Larson. Hans, good to meet you.
Hi, Zeke.
Okay, it's cold. There's a funny smell. You're an evolutionary biologist. What are we doing here?
Well, if we're talking about dragons, a good place to start would be to look at an analog of dragons, dinosaurs.
Okay.
And we've got some here.
Inside?
Inside.
Okay, well then you first.
They're in here.
All right, let's check it out. Chickens? Okay, so chickens are related to dinosaurs?
Chickens are dinosaurs. All birds are within the dinosaur family tree. So locked inside each of these chickens is dinosaur DNA and the dinosaur genome. So we have a chicken and an egg.
Okay, let's grab one of these guys. Got one, dude.
Okay.
Let's hit it.
We're heading to the Redback Museum at McGill University, so Hans can make the chicken dinosaur connection for me.
Chickens first.
All right, Hans. I'm seeing, some similarities with the dinosaur here.
A chicken skeleton looks so similar to a dinosaur skeleton. How the ribs are placed, how the vertebrae are connected to each other, how the hips and the shoulders and the skull all fit together. If we look closely at the legs, they've got these scales on them. And this scale pattern is identical to the kind of scale patterns that we find in the fossil record.
All right, Hans, how do we go from my fine feathered friend right here to this huge dinosaur?
Well, just like this chicken is a dinosaur, this egg is a dinosaur egg. And inside this dinosaur egg is a developing dinosaur embryo. Here you can see the developing embryo.
Wow.
Doc Larson dyed this chicken embryo blue so I can see how much it looks like a dinosaur even before he starts experimenting.
You can see right away that the wing looks a lot like a dinosaur.
Yeah, they definitely look like feet, not wings.
This is essentially an extinct dinosaur kind of hand. There's even a claw developing on their thumb. So there are a lot of dinosaur hallmarks in the embryo.
It's like the recipe is in the egg. You're just trying to bring a different recipe out.
Yeah, so all the genes are the same. The trick now is to find out what genes are turned on and off, when and where.
So you're not making a dinosaur, you're actually just reanimating what's already in the embryo.
Exactly.
I totally get it.
All through there.
Chickens, dinosaurs, Jingmei's four-winged flying reptile, they're all on the same evolutionary family tree. All Doc Larson has to do is switch off genes that will make this a chicken and switch on genes to reveal the traits of its ancient ancestors. He's already hit the switch to increase vertebrae in the tail, the first step to hatching a Chickosaurus. And maybe something even more fantastic.
If we can get a dinosaur from this chicken embryo, why not a dragon?
There's nothing to a dragon that hasn't existed already or doesn't exist right now. Most parts of dragons are really viable things that exist in animals today.
And I've already found the parts. The skeleton of dinosaurs, wings of a bat, the launching and flying strength of a raptor, the hypnotic power of a cobra, tail of a croc, and breathing fire like a bombardier beetle. So what's the magic to making all these parts move?
It is a little scary.
My creature tech friends call it voodoo.
This device that we've got in front of us is called the voodoo rig. Think of it almost as a miniature version of the large dragon. So there's around 36 axes of movement that correlate back to this creature.
All right.
Do you want to have a feel?
Oh, please.
Get your hand on that there.
Okay.
And
so this front part
yeah,
is like the head.
That's correct. You got the head rotate there. Let me see if you can do that tail wag. This one here.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the tail looks like it could really hurt some people.
You could, yes. And not to be picky, but get your thumb on those eyes for me.
Bring it all together.
That's it. That's it, that's it. There's quite a lot of control. You know, there's not many times that a puppeteer gets given a creature that's worth $1 million that's this large, that has this much going on with it. You know, it's pretty unique.
Well, can I turn this over to you? Because the $1 million stat just scared the heck out of me.
Well, I'll get somebody to give you a call and let you know if your audition went well.
The reason that dragons appeal to people so much still is because we recognize we don't know everything about this world. And there are things that we still don't understand that are beyond our comprehension. And that's quite a profound recognition. Our wish to know more, but also our understanding that we just don't know. That's what dragons represent, our not knowing, but wanting to know.
I'm ready to put the last piece onto my young dragonologist's mashup. A head with all the blessings of people throughout time who believe in dragons. Which brings me to my final stop. I'm in Sydney, Australia for the How to Train Your Dragon Arena Spectacular. My creature technology friends have made all the dragons, and now I know how to make them come alive. Put them before the eyes of people who want to search for the unknown.
High five for dragons.
Ready? Yeah.
The fact that people are still looking for everything from bats to snakes to rodents to dragons says a lot about us. We need to know what's out there.
Dragons are very necessary. It's part of something we always would hope for and desire to see.
It is tapping into something that I think is absolutely in the recesses of our brain. That same connection that people had sitting around a campfire conjuring up these insanely mythical beasts.
We want that sense of wonder that we had as children. And I think dragons represent that for people.
Do dragons really exist? Yes. In every culture, in every chapter of history, and in every child's heart.